friends, lovers, and all of the others. It's another episode of Pod from the Bunker. Here I am. I'm Kev from the Bunker. All of my socials are coming up below me right now. Some of my socials are Kev D. Foster, Kevin D. Foster, and such. So check them out below. If you're watching this on YouTube, I do this live on Twitch, and you can come and chill with all the guests, with all the chat. If you're watching this on Twitch, we put all these VODs onto YouTube, and we just rolled over 1,000 YouTube followers or subscribers. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Thank you, everyone out there who has supported. And today we have a guest from the West Coast who I met on another platform previous to Twitch, actually. We became friends. There was a handful of musicians on a platform called Mixer. You may have all remembered, and they have closed their doors in, I think it was June 2020, so about 3 months after the pandemic had really started, 3 or 4 months. We met, we became friends, and then we all had to migrate over to Twitch, and through that, of course, we had to find each other again and sort of reconnect and stay in touch. So I'm glad to have her on the show today. Her name was Rockstar Angel. Her name now is Joyce Lee Music. So you can check her out in the chat right now. There's a link to all of her links, and I will shout her out as she's performing as well. So how about we, with no further ado, we bring her in. Like I said, all of her links are below. All of my links are below. There's merch there. There is the Patreon. There's our Discord, which has been a little bit popping off lately. I've been trying to keep that up to date. So join the Discord and connect with us. Everything that I do goes to the Discord. So all the YouTube videos, all the Twitch streams, everything that I do. So. But right now, let's bring in Joyce Lee and learn a little bit more about her. I'm excited to learn more about her. We don't get much time to chat because we're both busy creating content. So let's do that now. Miss Joyce Lee, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very grateful to have you. Finally, we get to chat like a little bit. I know it's public, but we get to chat one-on-one, not in a chat format. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been into your streams for a number of years, and I know you've been in mine, and we did the whole host and raid thing on Mixer and such, and we've become, musical acquaintances from across the continent, actually.
Yeah. Right. No, I remember the first time I saw your stream when you first started streaming on Mixer, and you had that really cool, you were like doing the whole one man band thing.
Oh, yes.
Before you got the looper.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
That thing almost got me evicted, though, so I love it. Although because it was so loud, I got in some trouble. I would love to bring it back sometime. I'm trying to figure out a way to make it electronic of sorts, so it can be silent in the room, but provide drums to the chat and to the stream. So, but yeah, thanks for noticing. And likewise, there was only a handful of musicians, and we all were pretty close over there on Mixer before we had to move to Twitch. But I would like to learn a little bit more about before we digitally met. So. How did you start? How did you get into music? Did you take lessons as a kid? Were your parents helping you along the way with that? What got you into music in the very first place?
So, kind of interesting. It's like both. Okay. So, my parents, my mother and my grandmother were actually both piano teachers, and my mother was classically, so they were both classically trained in the piano. My grandma was actually a professor at the Conservatory of Music in Shanghai, and my mom was also an opera singer. And when they left China and immigrated here to escape from some bad stuff that was going on in China, that's how my mom raised me and my brother, was teaching piano.
Wow.
And teaching voice lessons. Now, ironically, though, my mom did not want me to be a musician. So it was like very like academic why I needed to learn piano and why it was important, but she didn't want me to actually pursue it professionally.
Well, I feel like it's such a good skill to have. And as we all know, that like kind of like activates parts of your brain and makes you like a more intuitive thinker, I think, in certain ways. So, so where did you go with the lessons, and did you rebel, or did you want to, because like you became a rock star, so how did it go from, how did that transition go?
I appreciate the rock star comment. I don't know if I deserve that, but what happened was when I was like 16, I got transferred to a really small school, ended up becoming best friends with this girl who loved punk rock, and I'd never heard of punk rock before.
Okay.
And she introduced me to it, and the first time I heard it, I was like, oh my God, what is this? This is amazing. And it was like a weird, like, stars aligning moment for me. It was like all of a sudden I knew that I loved this and this is what I wanted to do. And so I may or may not have cut class and gone to Guitar Center to buy a guitar.
Oh, wow. Nice.
With all the money I saved from working at the movie theater.
Cool.
And started teaching myself how to play. That was the beginning of me, like, seriously writing songs and being like, this is what I want to do, and I know it. So
that's amazing. And then so from piano to guitar, and you said your mom was an opera singer as well and did some voice lessons throughout there. Tell me a little bit about that and how that transfers or doesn't.
So my mom actually never really gave me voice lessons. She taught me a couple of breathing exercises maybe once. I heard her and I watched her teach a lot of people.
Right.
But singing, pretty much for the most part, I kind of figured it out by myself, a lot of it. So I think just from, like, being around my mom and watching her do warm-ups and teach other people, and then also copying and emulating people I heard on the radio. Yeah. So before I got into punk rock, I listened to a lot of Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston and Celine Dion. I also grew up in church, singing in the church choir and stuff. So like, I don't remember them giving us voice lessons. I think it was just like, just sing this. And it's something that was pretty intuitive for me. I'd always, as long as I remember, I was singing. According to my dad, I could sing before I could talk. I don't remember this, but he likes to tell that story a lot. So, yeah. That's
fun. So then you said somewhere around 16, you got into punk rock music and you went and bought yourself a guitar. So then you started, did you teach yourself guitar? Was it on the internet, or did you take lessons in that, or was it just listening to songs and sort of emulating with that as well?
A combination of that. I've only ever taken a very small handful of guitar lessons, like just like a couple of times. I really feel like I should actually go and, like, get real guitar lessons from somebody. But I just kind of, like, went and looked up tabs and tried to copy those and like listened to. Just tried to learn the songs that I really loved when I was younger. Right. So
that's what I did too. And then you started a band, or how did you get into a band?
So I tried to start a couple bands when I was a teenager, but it was really hard because I was in a small town and it's not like the movies where all of a sudden you magically have, like, all of the parts come together. Yeah. So then when I went to LA, and the aughts, and while I was there, I just really heavily started getting into music. At first I was doing solo stuff, and then the reason why I got into bands later is actually because I ended up getting injured.
Okay.
For a couple of years. I couldn't play guitar, I couldn't play piano, but I still wanted to do music somehow. So I put together a few different bands to so I could still sing without having to use my arms.
Right.
Essentially.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you want to elaborate on that, or is that no?
We can talk about it. I was working like a steady job while trying to do music at the same time. They set up my desk incorrectly for me, and I ended up getting injured. So had to go through physical therapy and stuff. I still have, like, some numbness. Basically the nerve that goes down from your neck all the way down to, like, your last two fingers on both of my arms. I kind of have issue with stuff like that. So sometimes I still, like, randomly drop things. It just will get numb with overuse sometimes, so I still have to be careful. But I'm trying.
Good.
I'm still
I'm sorry
playing
to hear about
guitar
that.
and
But yeah, you
that.
seem to be overcoming that in my vision there, because you're rocking on as you do. So other than all of your stories so far, what do you think music is? What exactly is music to you?
Um, that's a very good question. Well, for me, it's like I need it. Like I need to like breathing, you know.
Hmm.
Um, I know that I've had times in my life. I kind of had forced times in my life where because of my injury, I basically just wasn't doing a lot of music and was working on just like living, making enough money to eat.
Of course.
And there was like times I remember times in my life where like um I wasn't like worried about money necessarily, and I wasn't like there wasn't really anything wrong in my life, but it still felt like I was a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I wasn't really doing music.
Okay. So it just
Like
fulfills you.
and yeah. And I feel like, especially if you're an artist, if you're not doing art of some sort, or if you're not like I think stagnancy is like horrible. And so like if you're not doing art of some sort, like you just don't feel like yourself. You need it, like you need to breathe. And for lack of a better term, because I don't want to assume whatever people believe, but I think it's like the best way I could think to put it is you need to feed your soul as much as you feed your mind and your body.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a way to do that. And I think in general, you need art in the world because it helps you feel things you may not be able to feel otherwise, or process things in a way you wouldn't be able to otherwise, or, things like that, or bring joy in a way you may not be able to experience otherwise. So music is that for me, for sure.
Yeah, and like we could say something and it can have a meaning to you and strike you, but if you have ever had a song that's struck you and you're like crying or you get goosebumps or there's a physical reaction to said vibrations, we all know that how much more powerful it can be to sing something or to have a melodic and sort of harmonic element to that. I mean, some movies, if you took the sound out of a certain scene, it would have nowhere near the same impact. Where a guy like Hans Zimmerman or someone who scores films for a living, they have such a control of emotion. And so, I think it's important to feel that for yourself and from others. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
also, what do you think success is?
Um, I definitely don't think it has to do with how much money you make. I definitely think success has more to do with, I would say a successful day is if you feel good about what you've done at the end of the day and you feel good about the life you lived. I'd say that's a huge success, whatever it is,
And
honestly.
we can mark that minute by minute, hour by hour, if you want.
Mm-hmm.
I know that writing a gratitude journal in the morning when you wake up is such a good way to start your day off on the right foot. So, yeah, the energy, once again, the vibration, I think is more important than maybe the income, right? How do you feel about what you do? Are you getting up? Are you upset about it? Are you tired? Are you motivated to do it? Does it make you feel good inside? Does it make you feel full again, not like a ghost, right?
Yeah,
So that is
definitely.
success to you, I see. Now, more specifically, as a musician and getting a little bit more specific on how we would have to live our lives, what do you think is a successful way to release music in, the year 2022, or let's say 2023 now,
Um,
from your perspective?
yeah. I mean, so when I was first doing music, it was very much like album based and very much like this is an event, you're supposed to release an album, blah, 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 blah. I think nowadays you have such a sense of immediacy in social media and the internet that you don't necessarily need to do it that way. You can release music however you want. If you want to do it just a song by song versus, a full album, it's fine. You could do it either way. I don't know if I would necessarily say. I do think that you have to be on social media nowadays, and you have to have social media game for it to work.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like become, whereas it used to not be a prerequisite, now it absolutely is.
Yeah, so it maybe went from like slugging it out in the clubs with a box of CDs in the back of your car to slugging it out by doing content on all these. It's like sort of just switched in a way where they're the same sort of.
Yes.
Yeah, the workload is just different. It's more just digital now instead of physically going hanging posters and physically going and selling CDs. You're digitally doing all of that now.
Yeah,
especially with streaming.
Which in some ways it's nice because you don't have to. It's it's not as expensive in some ways because you're just sitting at home. You're not having to drive 2 hours in traffic to a gig to set up and then split $50 between you and 5 guys who play in your band with you, and then end up spending it on whatever food and gas and then
lose money
back home. Yeah. So
but
I have no idea. I've never done that before. So,
we all have. We've all blown a gig or two, yeah, for sure. We've all blown the tires out when we're like, oh yeah, this will make sense. And then we're like, that made no sense. Why did I ever do that one?
Yeah, nowadays it's like you have a lot more means as an artist to do DIY stuff, to build a brand for yourself, build a presence, so that it's and also it's kind of like also because now a lot of labels and stuff want to look for artists that are already established, if that's what you want to go for, versus being an independent artist. But we also live in an age right now where you can totally survive without a label as an independent artist now, because we have all of these avenues of social media and things like that.
And
so I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for instance, like I'm going to ask you to play a song in a second here, and it's going to go onto my podcast, and it's going to go onto my YouTube and all of my channels, and I'm going to have a link for all of your stuff for it. So like instead of having a marketing budget where you have to go out and like spend money on posters or spend money on a promotional video or whatever, like we're doing this just as friends, and we're building each other's communities by doing it this way. So it's another way that technology has really advanced for us to promote ourselves and and that's why I do this show. So with that being said, is there like a song that you'd like to promote right now and you want to play for us? Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you the full screen, and I'm gonna mute myself, and I'm gonna let you explain a little bit about said song and tell us how you wrote it, where you wrote it, why you wrote it, and play it for us, and then we'll be able to promote that for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So
let me throw you over to full screen. You can turn on your reverbs and stuff, and there's gonna be a little stinger between, and then I'll mute myself, and you can get going.
Sounds good.
All right, Joyce, the screen is yours. I'm going to mute myself, and we're going to learn a little bit about this tune and sing it for us.
So this song is a song that's going to be on my next album. I'm actually working on an album right now. And I think it's pretty relatable. It's about feeling invisible. So, sometimes you could be in a situation where even with someone you love, you just feel like you're not seen. And I think that that's something that a lot of people can relate to.
just a week ago. You held me in your arms, it felt like you were never letting go. Now I drown in whiskey on my own. 2 days sinking deeper into feeling more and more alone. So I'll just hide the tears I cry. There's nowhere for my pain when you're the one drowning on the inside. Time is cruel as it is kind. Synthetic beauty's temporary, all the colors fade in time. Invisible, see right through me. Invisible, look right past me. I'm a sounding board, a specter's kiss, an afterthought. I don't exist. Invisible, and all those fears you couldn't hide. Now vacant eulogies of shadowed plans and promises worn thin. Hope that once drift by your side. Unworthy punishments for things that never were and haven't been. Invisible, see right through me. Invisible, look right past me. I'm a sounding board, a specter's kiss, an afterthought. I don't exist. Invisible, what the hell am I fighting for? Well, you don't see me anymore. It's a half-life, a broken circumstance when all your love keeps crashing against a brick wall. Inebriated declarations, lost to fear of expectation. It doesn't hurt if we blame it on the alcohol, and let's forget how swiftly we pay the cost of history. How can it hurt if you're a ghost? Invisible, see right through me. Invisible, look right past me. I can't lose myself, memoriam bliss. I want you, but I don't exist. Invisible, what the hell am I fighting for? You don't see me anymore. There's nothing fair in love and war, and I can't do this anymore. No, I won't do this anymore.
Beautiful. I was busy talking to chat there about how great this was. We were breaking down the lyrics right there. That was lovely, Joyce. Thank you so much for that. That was gorgeous. Powerful. Was it drop D? Drop C? Drop D?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I like
Drop D.
that. It's got some darkness to it, but your voice is so uplifting. There's like this really cool contrast there that I really enjoyed about that. That was gorgeous. Thank you. I got goosebumps. Woo!
Thank you.
Right
Also,
on.
hi, Chad, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, we do this, or if you're listening on any of the podcast platforms, we do this live on Twitch. So come on over and watch this happen live. It's the best way to take in the content. So what do you think gets you going to write a song, madam? Tell me, Joyce, what would it, like, let's say today you're walking down the street, what would it like, sort of induce a song upon you?
Honestly, you can get inspired by anything. I've been songwriting for so long at this point, and I think I've been practicing songwriting for so long that when I first started writing songs, it used to be only when I was inspired. Usually when something really bad happened.
Yeah.
So I'd be really like upset and depressed.
It's always harder to write a happy song, right? If something great happens to you, you don't go home and go, well, I better write a song about how great that day was. This is never.
Yeah, I know. But then after a few years of doing music, I realized I really wanted to be a songwriter. So I really started learning a lot about songwriting. And now, honestly, I feel pretty confident that I could write a song about a lot of different things if I just sit down and do it. It's kind of like a muscle, right? You learn how to exercise it, and then gradually you are able to just naturally do more than before, and you can do it when you want to, as opposed to just, when you're at the gym, like the first 10 minutes and then you die.
Yeah.
Like, it's like after a while, it's like, oh, this is easy. I could do this. Not that it's easy, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah. You know how to flex the muscle. Yes. Have you ever done any co-writes, or is it all just by yourself? And how do you feel about either or? What is your favorite way, sort of?
I've done a lot of co-writes. I think that was something too that I seeked out for a while, because I just feel like you just become a better writer the more things you expose yourself to, and then the more people you work with. So I've done a bunch of co-writes. Not everything is public. So, but hopefully there'll be some of these that will be released at some point next year.
Nice.
Hopefully.
Excellent.
I'm pretty proud of a few of them. Yeah.
That's a good feeling, isn't it? It's tough as an artist to like really feel good about something that you created. And especially after a certain amount of time and working with it, you sort of get a little bit tired on it yourself, and you don't know if it's good because you're fatigued upon it. So that's really nice feeling to have, and like, yeah, all right, cool, this still feels good to me. I guess, how do you find a balance between making art and making money?
I think that one big thing that artists struggle with is, because it's something that we love and because it's something that it's so much a part of who we are, like a lot of artists are not necessarily in love with the business side of it, right? I think a lot of us are, we're like, oh no, I have to sell myself, especially because like stuff like songwriting, sometimes it's such a personal thing where you just want to hide in a room and like not do it, which is why I personally haven't done like a songwriting session on stream.
It's hard for me too. It's personal for me. To bring everybody in is very difficult, right? I hear you on that. I feel you big time.
Yeah, so I think that one big barrier and one big thing that helps is just learning not to be scared to know your worth and ask for it.
Right.
Which I struggle with constantly. It's but I had to, at some point, I had to be like, you know what, like, because sometimes it's like the voice you tell yourself, it's easier for you to tell your friends, but it's hard for you to tell yourself. So I sit there and I'm like, okay, if this is one of my friends who I believe in, who's a musician, who's great, I would be saying this to them.
Okay, good.
I should say that to myself too.
Right.
Like
right.
What
hard
you
to do that.
Yeah, what you do is worth people paying for. Like all of the countless hours you spent learning how to play guitar, all of the countless hours you spent like practicing, all of the countless hours and work you put into, like, that's what people are like supporting. And it's okay to ask for that, because especially if you have good content, like, people want to support that. So you shouldn't be afraid to ask for it. I think that's like the biggest barrier I have.
Do you prefer being a performing artist or a recording artist? Or is it the same level of preference?
So this isn't exactly what you asked me, but I think I prefer songwriting first
Okay.
out of everything.
Okay.
And then I do enjoy going into the studio. I do have a lot of fun, like recording vocal parts specifically for other people if they want to hire me. That's like something fun and easy and it's nice, and you get to show up in your pajamas, unless you're trying to shoot like something behind the scenes video or whatever. So that is kind of nice. But I don't know. It's hard to say because I also really love performing. Like I love being on platforms like Twitch. I've met so many amazing people. I get inspiration from being on these platforms from artists like you and my other friends, you know, and then I also get inspiration and I feel support from my community constantly. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that we struggle with because a lot of artists were emo. We're like very emo.
Yeah, it's not just a genre of music. It is an actual feeling, everyone.
Yeah, we're very emo, and we go through a lot of stuff. There's a lot of struggle that you guys don't see, and that I don't talk about. But and there'll be days where I literally am like, I don't know if I want to stream today, and then I get on and I stream, and like I get so much joy from my community and love, and it's been really healing for me in a lot of ways, and also really I'm just very grateful for it.
Yeah, and the performance on Twitch is such different. Like, it's so connecting. Like, we're performing to each person who may or may not be requesting or like likes your original and is commenting on your lyrics, and everybody's sort of listening, and it's very interactive. And performing live is a different sort of interactivity that goes on, where you're kind of just feeling the vibe and setting the vibe, and it's more of an energetic exchange. But I think that, yeah, doing a stream is a nice way. And quickly, I wanted to go back to you saying sometimes I don't feel like I want to stream, but sometimes I'm like that too. And you're like, then I get on there and it's great. Well, it's the same as the gym or going for a walk or a run. It's like, if you get your shoes on and your shorts on and you get to the gym and you actually get there, you'll do it and it will be fine and you're going to feel great after. But if you just can't get your shoes on that day, which we all know, everyone has had those days where it's tough to get your shoes on to go to said gym or stream or wherever. But I think that the openness about that is really important too, and just letting people know, like, hey, this is me, and we're not all rock stars all the time. Even that was your nickname, so I really like to reference that. But we're not all rock stars all the time, and sometimes we all have our moments. So I think the realness of the Twitch thing is really cool too. What did your parents' record collection look like?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my dad only ever listened to classical music. That's all he ever listened to. Nothing else.
Right. Okay, I hear you.
And I don't even know if he owned records. I think I just remember him having CDs.
Okay.
And then on my mom's side, like my parents immigrated from China. They didn't really have a lot when they came here.
Of course.
Right. So also my dad grew up super poor. So like my mom, she didn't really own that many CDs. She just played a lot of music all the time. But again, it was only all classical music.
Right.
It wasn't until like years later, after now she's remarried to my stepdad. Now she listens to she likes a lot of the stuff that he likes. Like she loves Elvis. She really loves Johnny Cash.
Well, do you think
and listening to a lot of stuff?
Because Elvis and Johnny Cash have a very baritone voice, and like Elvis's vibrato was out of this world. So I feel like there's some technique there that she would be relating to opera-wise, where she's like, "Wow, this guy he's doing pop music, but he is doing, there's very operatic things going on in his voice there. Very cool."
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about it that way. I mean,
not so much Johnny Cash.
She did have a huge...
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I was going to say she did have a huge crush on Placido Domingo for the longest time.
Okay, I'm unfamiliar. I don't know who that is.
He was a really famous opera singer anyway.
Okay. I mean, sometimes the craft can just push you from a 7 to a 10, can't it? Okay, so I just wanted to know what's in the record collection. So do you think it was more your friends? Do you have any siblings that may have influenced your music, or something else that may have influenced you musically that you grew up listening to? Or was it just friends and sort of rebelling against that classical and going and finding punk rock music?
Well, I remember so I'm the oldest. I'm older by my brother by like 5 years.
Okay.
So I didn't really have any siblings or older cousins that influenced my musical taste that much.
Right.
I remember when I was getting older, like towards middle school, like getting made fun of because I didn't know what a lot of people were listening to.
Right.
Because I, had no
Hanson?
concept of
Who's
you listen
Hanson?
to the radio.
You don't know
Because
Mbop?
it's just not. Yeah, no, I did learn that later. I started watching MTV and I really liked watching music videos. I'm totally dating
True.
myself. Anyway,
Yeah.
I started watching MTV and I really liked watching music videos. So that introduced me to a lot of music. And then I was just started listening to the radio at some point. I don't remember why. I think it was just because like I said, a lot of kids I didn't have a lot of friends. Okay. I was a total loser kid, by the way, like just so you guys know.
Well, your family immigrated too. It's very difficult. Like, I mean, it's hard to sort of like assimilate and make friends, and so it's probably like, don't be hard on yourself. That's, you've done great. Look at your cool shit now. Woo!
Thanks.
Right on.
I remember the first time someone said that to me, and I was just like, "What? You're cool." I'm like, "I'm what?"
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I had like no friends when I was younger. I got made fun of a lot. I didn't know who they were talking about when they were talking about different bands on the radio. So I just started listening to the radio, and then I kind of was like started kind of discovering stuff that I like. And it wasn't until, like I said, I discovered punk rock, which is not stuff you would find normally on the radio, actually.
Right.
A lot of underground stuff that I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Yeah.
Different emotion you can let out with that music, right? I never really understood it. I never was into like metal or heavy metal or like even punk rock really. But it's because I get my emotions out by physical activity or something. But like some people need that for their release. They got to get some anger out or some feelings out. And I've just realized that as I've matured musically and as a man, like, oh yeah, there's a place for everything, So yeah, you've been mosh pitting. Did you do mosh pitting back in the day? Were you heavy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's the level.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, just curious, would you like to play us another tune? I was just kind of like, what I try to do there is see where like how maybe some of those record collections or people who influence you maybe like sort of influence the songs that you write now. And of course, the last one had like you said, Drop D, a little bit of a darker tone to it, a little bit more of a dark rock feeling. But just curious if you wanted to play another tune and how that might relate to growing up.
Yeah.
Cool. Let me give you full screen then.
think.
Let me give you full screen. All right, it's all yours, Joyce. I'm going to mute myself. You tell us a little bit of story about this song, and we'll hear another tune from you here, original.
So this song is, I'm not sure what I'm doing with this song yet, but it's not going to be on the next album. Also, hi everybody in chat. But this is a newer song that I wrote. It's kind of different than what I'd been writing for a while, because when I was younger, I was much more into like the rock stuff. I first started out doing mostly ballads, then I got more into rock, and then I kind of switched back. And this is I think also this was kind of a cool experience for me writing this song, because I like some of the poeticism of the lines and the fact that I got to use a couple of words that I wouldn't normally have thought would go well in the song. Well, one word in particular. I got to use the word cacophony in this song, and I thought that was kind of cool. So anyway, this is a song I wrote about cacophony, like a cacophony, cacophony. Yeah, you don't normally hear that in a song, I think, but it made sense in this one. So anyway, this song is about kind of depression and struggling with that cacophony. It's like an overwhelming amount of like a noise. So like, yeah. Like epiphany, but not. Sure. All right. This song is called 6 a.m.
6 a.m. and I am lying here awake. Hidden pockets in my memory take everything that's sweet and leaves a bitter taste. Once again I went and cried myself to sleep. These dreams, they run me down, can't keep up with another losing race. Another fall from grace. And they say life is what you make of it, but sometimes life makes you a cacophony of experience, so loud it must be true. And all these little pills we take to hold ourselves together, all of these apologies we say don't mean a goddamn thing today. Late a.m. and I am staring out my window, pouring coffee down the pipelines of a different disease. Happiness is such a tease. Take a dose of empty calm to ease my trouble. Temporary muting wraps me like a bubble till it pops, and then the rain falls down again. And they say life is what you make of it, but sometimes life makes you cacophony of experience, so loud it must be true. And all these little pills we take to hold ourselves together, all of these apologies we say don't mean a goddamn thing today. And they say life is what you make of it, but sometimes life makes you a cacophony of experience, so loud it must be true. And all these little pills we take to hold ourselves together, all of these apologies we say don't mean a goddamn thing today. No, all of the apologies we say don't mean a goddamn thing today.
Another beautiful one. And you mentioned that's like a different style, like a little more folky with the sort of finger picking. Love it, Joyce.
Yeah.
Well done. And we were talking in chat about the vocabulary and the word choice. Like, it doesn't feel out of place to use that word there. It fits really well. And it makes me actually want to go and understand what that word means. We talked about it in chat the whole time.
Yeah. I like having nerd moments like that.
Well, and it's
in
also, we've all
songs,
had
yeah.
cat, fat, bat, rat. Like, we all had those rhymes where it's like, we know that, but like getting a word like that thrown in there it's hard to do that. It's very difficult to sort of add it to the syncopation and rhyme scheme when you have so many syllables.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well
Yeah.
done. What was the first concert you ever went to? Not including classical. Not like I don't want you going to the orchestra with your mom and dad. What was the first concert you went to?
So we talking like big concert, or like just like indie random thing?
It could be indie concert, but like punk rock indie band, or like a big concert that you went to. Maybe your most memorable first concert. Like, what really stuck with you in your early ages that you saw a performance and was like, whoa, I want to do that, or I really like that.
Yeah, no, it was when I first moved to LA. This is a memorable one. I went to so many like little backyard shows and like underground shows when I was a
Right.
teenager. But the most memorable one, my first really big memorable one, where it was like a concert that I really paid for, it wasn't like a backyard underground thing, was seeing a band called Fuel perform with Full Devil Jacket and Lacuna Coil
Okay.
at the Whiskey A Go Go in Hollywood.
Oh, wow. And were you, can I ask if you were underage? Like, was it 19 plus, was it a 21 plus event? Did you sneak in?
I think it was 18 plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Fuel, like that, you won't take my picture. Is that them?
No, that's Tonic. Fuel is the one that does had a bad day again.
Okay.
Someone not understand that
Okay.
one. Or do you know Shimmer?
Yes, okay. Yes, I know that one.
Yes,
too.
that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know the band now.
Yeah.
It's in my head. That was Filter. Okay, right. Good call.
Yeah. That was Filter. Hi, CF. Hi, Dory.
Okay, so let's say you were able to go on tour with two artists, you and two artists. So the bill is 3 people. Who are those 2 artists? They can be dead or alive.
Oh, jeez. Man, that's a really hard question.
Well, you can dream big. Dream anything you want. It could be Aretha Franklin and Elvis, and you guys could, whatever you want. Anything.
Okay, one of them has to be Led Zeppelin,
Okay.
for sure.
Yep.
One of them has to be Led Zeppelin. And then the other one, I don't know, I feel like I'd want like a really strong rock and like female artist.
Pink.
I don't know.
I love
Not Pink.
She's a rock star.
I don't know. So the Runaways was like a huge influence for me when
Okay.
I was working on an album with my old band called Joyce and the Killing Shoes. I think that would be killer to this. My second would probably maybe be them, or like which was Joan Jett's first band when she was like 16 years old.
Yep.
And then trying to think of like a really badass like
Joan
female
Jett
artist that I would
is a
love.
pretty bad.
I mean, Joan Jett is a badass.
Yeah.
Like, but another one, I don't know, probably yeah, like, or it could be cool, like a more modern artist that I think I'd love to tour with that could also fit. Would be like Paris.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
unfamiliar with them,
I don't
but
know if you've heard of them.
no, but I probably
Yeah,
should. I'm old man, so I don't know anything. I'm like Led Zeppelin. Yeah, I know that one. Good. Yeah. So let's say you are going on tour with these folks. What would be like your dream venue to play with them, and what would you have on your rider in the green room for you guys to munch on, snack on, play video games? What are you doing back there in the back room? With
I
Led
like these
Zeppelin and
questions.
with Led Zeppelin in Paris. So what's the venue and what's on the rider, the list?
Or Led Zeppelin, the Runaways. Well, definitely whiskey.
Okay.
In the
Is there a specific
and
kind?
definitely whiskey. I don't know. I've never been to Red Rocks, but I've heard it's amazing and very unique amphitheater experience. So that I think could be really cool. I like the idea of being out in nature in the open and having this beautiful natural place. Definitely apple juice.
Apple juice. Oh, that's the other term for whiskey. Yes.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Joy's comment. Led Zeppelin slaps. Love that tune. Highway to Hell. Oh
I love their song Thunderstruck. So good. That's so funny.
What else?
So whiskey, what else? Like, is there any snacks? Is there dancers? Maybe you
Yeah.
have like a couple, maybe Jory's there dancing. I don't know.
Joy's there dancing.
She's got
Well,
a bow
yeah,
tie
that
on.
would be awesome. So definitely whiskey. And let's see, what else? I don't know. Probably pretzel crisps. Have you ever had those? They're so good.
Pretzel crisps?
Crisps.
Are they like?
they're like crackers, but they're pretzel flavored. They have like everything flavored pretzels. Or
Oh.
yeah, they're so good. I also really love Snap Pea crisps.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Oh,
Very familiar with those.
yeah.
Delicious.
Probably like a bowl of like Chinese candy that not everybody's heard of, but I love
Yep.
personally.
And you would teach everyone in
me.
all the band about them. Like, you're like, well, this is this, and it comes from this, and
And tea,
okay,
because I drink a lot of tea.
excellent.
So, yeah, a lot of tea, definitely whiskey, apple juice. We call it apple juice on my stream. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. Sounds fun. So it's Led Zeppelin and the Runaways, right? And you guys are playing at Red Rocks, and there's a lot of whiskey. Is there any specific brand or any sort of type? Is it Scotch or bourbon? It doesn't matter. Just there's an array. How about there's just a wall of whiskey, and you can pick whatever you want?
Oh my God, that would be the best
There you
thing
go.
ever.
Well, I mean, this is your dreamland. You could do whatever you want, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
I love whiskey. So, yeah.
no, that's fun. I like to end the podcast with a couple other questions, just sort of make you think for yourself, not so much for me. But what do you think the final goal is in whether it's music or your life or your career? The final Bowser that lands you in a place that makes you happy.
I don't know. I'd like to leave my little corner of the world better than it was before I got here. I think
Right.
that's pretty much it,
Yeah,
honestly.
that's the final goal of life.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good goal to me. I feel like that that gives you a lifelong goal and something to live towards, and something that is very attainable. And a day by day small goal will lead to that lifetime goal. You know, that's a great answer. Fantastic. What makes you happy, Joyce?
Well, food, experiences.
Okay.
Spending time with the ones that I love, making friends, learning new things. I don't know. There's so many things. My cat.
The simple things
So
in
many
life.
things. Yeah, lots of things. Music,
Right.
obviously. So
Yeah. Performing, recording. And are you doing those things to make yourself happy?
doing my best. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's all I wanted to know. And it's just not, those questions are not for me. I'm asking you what makes you happy, so you can ask yourself. And then you can maybe lean a little bit more towards those things that you answer with, you know? Enjoy some more food, enjoy some more experiences, enjoy more music, more community, whatever it is that does make you happy. Just sort of lean into those things. Yeah.
That's a nice. Yeah, that's a nice question. I like that. Thank you.
Hey, awesome. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you doing this, and I appreciate you sharing music with me and sharing your heart with all of us here in chat. Everybody here in chat, thank you for being here, and everyone from Joyce's community, thank you for coming over. You're a rock star, and you're an angel, and I thank you very much for everything, Joyce. And I'll never forget your initial name, so you'll always be Rockstar Angel to me, even though you're Joyce Lee Music. All the links are in the description of the YouTube video, and all the links are in chat right now in the guest command right there. If anyone wants to use command guest, it will bring up links for Joyce to her link tree. So thank you guys for hanging out. Joyce, thanks for doing this with me. We're going to do it again sometime. If you're ever in Toronto, I would love to have you come and perform here in the bunker. The stage is open to anyone and all of my Twitch friends whenever they're in town. So I would be ever so grateful to have you. If you ever end up in Toronto, just make sure you let me know before you get here, all right?
Oh, that would be amazing. I would love that. Thanks for having me. Thank
I-
you so much, everybody who joined.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure everyone gets the links to this, and it will be out in a couple weeks on all podcast platforms and everything. So I'll let you know, and we'll stay in touch, okay?
All All right.
Thank you,
sounds good.
Joyce. Take care of yourself.
Bye.
Bye now. Oh, here we go, bud. Wowzers. Another one bites the dust. Are you kidding me with that? Thank you, moderators, for hanging out. There's another link in chat for Joyce, and all of my socials are coming up below me here. Listen, guys, I just rolled over 1,000 YouTube. Is this even focused? What's going on here, Jimmy? Focus this camera. What's wrong with you? Still not focused. I can't see. My eyes are not focused, so it doesn't. There we go. I want you guys to go click on the link in the description below here and check out some of Joyce's stuff. If you're watching this on YouTube, please go follow me on Twitch. I'm getting really close to 4,000 followers on Twitch. And if you're on Twitch right now, I just rolled over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. 1,000. Thank you guys so much. I'm super stoked about that. That was a goal of mine for, well, it took 18 months to get to that goal. So a year and a half to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. The next goal, guess what, is 10,000. So we need you to tell 10 friends who are going to enjoy these podcasts and these performances and all this stuff that's going on here. I do have new shows that are coming out. We'll be streaming them live on Twitch and clipping them up into shorter videos for YouTube. So stay tuned for that. All of my links are below for my merch, for my Discord. I would love it if you guys join the Discord. Again, follow on YouTube. Give us a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform. And until next time, keep it between the mustard and the mayonnaise.